Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's me, Maris, and it's the breakfast show. It's the breakfast show. It's the breakfast show. I guess today I'm solo. I guess I didn't get the memo. But that's cool. I hope everybody's doing well today. It's this Wednesday morning, and it's they still haven't finished the election stuff, and so I know that some people are really feeling kind of stressed out on both sides of the fence, and that's okay. I'm not going to imbibe in the stress. I've got my what is this beautiful thing called? My smudge bundle here. So I'm lighting it, you can see it here. And, well, I guess if you're on the, I'm over here laughing. If you're on the podcast, you can't see it, nor can you really smell it, but I hope you pick up the vibration from it. But yeah, got my smudge bundle going this morning and was like, probably a good idea to do some clearing of that air. And because the weather is so fantabulous right now, it's a fantastic time to smudge your houses. Open up those windows, open up those doors, and clear that space and get this smudge going and clear that space. It's really important to do that. People don't realize, especially when you've been thinking about the last several months, and that we spent several months in what you would call, hey, I guess I forgot my other bracelet today. What you would call, I guess, that confinement, quarantine, whatever you want to call that. And so we've been in that space and we've kind of closed ourselves off. And so this week, especially here in Oklahoma City, man, the beginning part of the week was, or I guess last week was just insane, crazy. Like the 26th, that was my son's birthday. Hillary Clinton's birthday too. And we had that ice storm, whatever you want to call it, that came in and froze us over and, knocked down all these trees and limbs, and our electricity's been out. So people have been kind of stressed out. I know I've been kind of going through Facebook and reading how so many people have it's already they're living on a very, very limited income due to the COVID, etc. And that they're also now in this space where they're having difficulties. Where they're having, grab a chair, come on in. Okay. Where they're having difficulties making things happen in their lives, or they feel like they're really pretty kind of confined, or I don't know how to really. I guess it was just some of the things that people were talking about, and it was with all of the electricity being down, they lost all of their food and their food supplies, and so they've been out of the food and the food supplies, and that's been really, really stressful for them. Oh, there's Alyeen.
Hi.
And so when you think about those kind of things, it's really important to keep that in mind in your well-being and where you are in your alignment. Because if you think about the root chakra, and the root chakra is also known that's also like our earth center through there, and that's where we feel our grounding. That's where we're connected to the earth, or that we feel safe and secure. Maybe we've, got a little bit of a cushion of cash back there. We've got plenty of food. We've got all of our basic needs and necessities are being met. And then when we start getting one hardship or one dilemma after another, then our root chakra starts to have problems. We might manifest that with some low back pain, maybe some knee pain, ankle pain, plantar fasciitis, that would be a really common thing. Not being able to move forward or even feel like you can really even move from the spot that you're in. So when you start thinking about these kind of things, you know, and how stressors can affect your body, not only, you know, because we can say, oh no, I'm in a great place, I'm in a great place, I'm in a great place. But if you're having difficulties ambulating or walking because your feet are killing you so much, or you can't really rest at night, you can't get comfortable in your bed because your lower back or your hip is killing you, it's time to kind of work on the stressors that are going on in your life. And it's not always easy to do that, especially when you feel really confined in your space. I was like, I hope this...
and confined physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all three.
You know, and it's kind of funny. Somebody made a little point. I was reading something. It was either on Twitter or Facebook. And they made the point, they said that all during this COVID, that liquor stores and dispensaries have been open. And of course our pharmacies, you know, right? So liquor stores, pharmacies, dispensaries, which a dispensary, I guess, in some states is a pharmacy as well. But our churches have been closed.
Yeah.
Okay, you can buy your groceries or whatever at Walmart, maybe even have them delivered. But our churches are closed. Our synagogues are closed. Our mosques are closed. So you're limited to your worship or your fellowship, whatever you want to call it, because some people just go to church or go to mosque or synagogue, and don't strike me down for saying this. Sometimes they just go for the fellowship, for the companionship, for the connecting with somebody. Oh, it's a great cause, love Jesus, you know, or whatever. You know.
But, you know, if that's where somebody's at on their path, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not knocking it
because
everybody has their own path. Everybody has their own, and we all progress at different levels.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's not. Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you. I mean, I was just saying, don't be hating because of that comment, because everybody has a different path and everybody has a different progression.
I mean, it's like, think about why do some people take classes to get out of the house? They're not really interested in learning about, you know, what is that, origami or something like that. They're like, man, I got 2 left hands. There'll be no way I can ever fold that paper, you know, or
that sounds cool, and I need to get out of the house, so let's do it.
Let's do it. You know? And I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it at all. I'm just, you know, I sit back and I kind of look at it, and, you know, and I was like, where I was leading to is that you can fatten me up because the drive-thrus are open at almost every fast food restaurant. They got curbside delivery, you know, at my other restaurants if you don't feel like cooking, and you want something a little fancier, you know. But the ding-dang churches, synagogues, and temples, and etc. are all closed, and they're resorting to. And I'm like, online is great. You know,
not the same.
It's not the same. And I was like, so why is it okay for the liquor store? And here in Oklahoma City, why the hell are the liquor stores open up on Sunday? Really?
Yeah,
get your shit together on Saturday.
When did that change?
I don't know. When did that change?
Because they didn't used to be.
You know, good morning. I was like, what's the deal? Liquor stores are open, but I can't go to the mosque, temple, or church. You know, where everything's limited, even in the church. And that was like what? The Supreme Court did overrule. I think it was the Supreme Court or a California federal judge overruled Gavin Newsom, where he was talking about at Thanksgiving that they had to they had to celebrate it outside, paper plates and stuff only, one person serving. I'm like, all this crazy stuff for Thanksgiving, and I'm like, whatever. Okay, I'm at the point of like whatever. I know I make a lot of people mad because of I don't wear a mask very often, and they're always giving me a hard time about it, and that's okay. I love you anyway. You don't have to, I don't have to wear the mask, and I'm, in my own space, and I'm not going to wear the mask. But I'm like, read what the CDC is really putting out there.
If you can blow a candle out through the mask, don't you think that? Anyway.
Yeah, I like the one where there was somebody took off their mask and coughed and then put the mask back on, and I'm like, okay, that cough travels at 102 miles per hour, So I'm like, so it's almost down to Windstar by now, I'm like on it. But, but kind of going back to the root chakra, let's talk about the root chakra, or the earth center. So when that energy center is out of whack, then we start to make really inappropriate belief patterns going on. I'm going to say, I think one of them is the fear. I think we take these silent vows during times of crisis. We take a silent vow, and sometimes that silent vow is, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. Nobody likes me. I don't deserve that. And we start incorporating in, when we take those vows, we start incorporating in really, what I'm going to just call just a negative vibe. We don't feel good.
Yeah.
We probably have low back pain, knee pain. Anything that's like from the pubic bone down ends up feeling really jacked up, and that includes your libido too. So people go, well, that might be a little bit above, and I'm like, it could be a little bit below. Regardless, it starts to affect, and starts body, mind, and spirit. Then you end up in a bad mood, hating everything, hating yourself, hating above, whatever, and then you're just in the middle of a mess physically.
So, and if you talk to a chiropractor about that, and when you're speaking of low back pain in particular, if your sacral area is out of alignment, which it is if you're not grounded, your sacral, you need to be aligned. If the sacral vertebrae are out of alignment in your low back, then your cervical is also out of alignment.
Oh, I can see that.
So it's just kind of a given. If you've got a chiropractor that's, scanning your body, checking you over, and says, oh, let's work on your hips. Okay, well, now your neck wants to be worked on, because that's what happens, is that whole alignment goes off. And so if you're not grounded and you're finding that you're carrying a lot of tension and stress in your neck and shoulders, it's because it's progressed to the point that now you have got your throat chakras off.
Well, yeah, because you can't really say anything but negative stuff about everything that's going crappy in your life.
Right. And your heart chakra is off, because you've got all this stress and stuff going on. So yeah, it's all interconnected, which is interesting. So you get one off, and the rest of them just tend to follow along, domino effect.
I can see that. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Huh. I was sitting there thinking, the axis and the atlas, the axis and the atlas, the axis and the atlas. And I was like, yeah, I mean, they really are connected. And, even when you think about it, you have your Hata line, and that line of energy that goes up and down, and cerebral spinal fluid. And so if you do have any misalignments in that spinal column, then what happens is that, it makes it more difficult for that flow to occur on your cerebral spinal fluid.
Yeah, and if that's not flowing properly, you've got the headaches and the other things going on. So it's kind of a vicious circle. So, you energetically, you're out of balance and you're not functioning. Because you're energetically out of balance, then physically you start becoming out of balance. And then it's just a vicious circle. It just keeps going and going and going and going.
Oh, definitely.
Because now you've got the headaches, and because you have the headaches, you don't feel like doing anything. Your knees hurt, your hips hurt, you don't feel like getting up and moving around, but you really need to, because you'd feel better if you did.
Oh yeah.
I'm
over here laughing, because I was like, it's like the pituitary gland. The The pituitary gland controls everything that's going on in your body. You know, and I was like, so what, you know, and it was like, so they talk about like I guess like the heart being that master center, in the vibrational self. And then we look at the pituitary gland being the master gland in the endocrine system, you know, physiologically speaking. I was like, so what happens when the heart goes out and the, you know, spirit, you know, in the vibrational self, and what happens when the pituitary goes out? You're just in the middle of a husk.
There you are.
You know.
Well, energetically speaking, a heart goes out, then you've got issues with forgiveness and self-love.
Well, you can't even define on who you are as a person.
Right.
You know, because you're either looking at things on the outside or, I guess, focusing on the external instead of the internal, or the internal focus is a very, very negative vibration.
Yeah. And so, you know, I think an important thing to remember is that we all get into these.
Oh, definitely.
You know, it's like you have something, you have a car accident, you know, and life sucks for a little while, you know, while you're figuring all that out. And then you get your feet back underneath you and you get grounded again, and, you know, things are moving along quite well, and then something else
pops up,
you know.
I went to Judy's.
I see that. Again? Because I went with you.
Oh, yeah. You were there.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I'm like sitting here like I like all my stones.
I see that. She's sitting here, keeps fingering them.
I know, like picking them up and holding them. What is it called? Mockies or Mookies or Mocky?
Mockies.
Mockies. Crystal, she's on Facebook. Hey, good morning, Monica. How are you? Good morning, Azan. Aluminum Works. How are you? And I like to go to Judy's when I need to burn some money. I mean that lovingly. You know, well, and I'll tell you, because I do too. I guess they're called coins. Coins. I've found that I really like using the coins when I'm doing crystal healing stuff.
I too, for the chakra balancing.
Oh my God.
Love using the coins. They stay in place.
They stay in place. I did one on a face, and the whole face was like covered with crystals. And then I was like, I had some smaller ones, and I'm like, dude, can I like put some add them in? And they're like, sure, you know, like. And I'm like connecting them all up. Good morning. Connecting them all up with the little Herkimer diamonds. Getting them all into a little, I was like having a good time. They're like, damn, I feel like 20 years younger. And I was like, dude, you look 20 years younger. So, hey, facelift. Crystal facelift. So, no, I have a lot of fun with all of that kind of cool stuff. And then I like that one. That's one of those labradotes.
I love the labradotes.
There's a labradite egg. Yeah. I don't know. I have fun when I go to Judy's.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun. She's a lot of fun. Yeah. I took Daniel for the first time.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that was interesting. He's something else. He had her bringing out her special stuff from inside.
Very cool. No, I like her. She's very cool. It's Mockies. Is it
Mockies Crystal?
Mockies Crystal. I would pull it up, but I'm afraid of messing something up on the computer.
Mockies. I'm not bring my phone in here with me.
Yeah.
Mockies Crystal something. You could probably search it on Facebook and find it through Mockies. Just doing Mockies Crystals. MOCKY''S.
Yep.
Crystals. Something.
Yep. It's on Facebook. She's here local in Oklahoma City. She does ship. She has it listed up there on that page. Really cool, groovy lady, really nice pieces. I like going over there and just getting some cool, groovy stuff. I did, oh man, okay. So this is my Numite.
Oh, that's pretty.
Isn't that cool? And so, really here, I'll show it to you. That's my Numite.
It's got some pretty, like,
little flecky, the little fleckety things in there.
It really shines.
And you see it's in a triangle. So I've been doing these sessions, when they're laying down, whether I'm doing Reiki or a vibrational healing or crystal, on a crystal healing, it would be a given, right? But when I've been doing sessions today, lately, I've been taking this Numite, and putting it right over that third eye. And it's got the triangle, and so I know some of my friends are going, a triangle, over the third eye, And I'm like, that's cool. That's all right. So I'm over here and I'm putting this over, and it makes a really awesome session.
Well, triangle makes me think Trinity. It doesn't make me think.
Oh, I know, but I'm like,
I don't know.
But, yeah. Well, the Numite is what they call a magician's stone.
Okay.
And I like to use the Numite when I'm going to do some travel and lucid dreaming or astral projection, astral travel. I like to use a Numite. And this really cool guy that turned me on to a Numite, and this was several years ago, and he was like, and don't ever use it with another crystal.
Oh, wow.
They're meant to be used by themselves. So I'm like, oh, okay. So what do I do? So she's I don't do it to you. I just do this stuff to me. You know. I don't do it to you.
She comes back, don't ever use a Numite with another crystal.
Unless you want me to. Well, quartz crystal points. Okay. So you lay in there, and I am like demonstrating. I should just tape it on.
Yeah, you probably should.
Tape it on. Everybody's like,
It'd look really funny if you did first aid tape over the top of it, actually.
You have something on your forehead. I know. It's my Numite. So anyway, so I lay down with the Numite, and I have it over here, and I'm not quite talented yet to like get my little Herkimers and do it with my Herkimers, because they're kind of little, you know, and they'll roll around and stuff. So I'll take these that have like a flat side to it, and I'm like, boom. So I put my Numite up there, and I play with the quartz crystals on my forehead or around my head.
So you make your own little crystal
hell yeah, I make my
grid on your
I make a crystal grid on my forehead.
I love it. I love it.
You know, I'm feeling good, you know. But it's a fun stone, especially if you like to do like astral travel and lucid dreaming. And they're like, you do that? And I'm like, heck yeah. Oh my gosh, I refuse to leave the continental USA. I refuse. I don't know. And they're like, don't you want to go to Alaska? And I'm like, I will in my dreams, thanks. And they're like, don't you want to go to Alaska? I'm like, I'll go in my dreams, thanks. Because I want to go to an igloo. Igloo. Listen to me, igloo, an igloo. Igloo. I want to go and hang out in an igloo. An IGLOO. But I don't do cold.
I don't do cold either.
I'm like, I mean, it's like 50 degrees outside, and I've got my big heavy coat on. Seriously. I get laughed at a lot. They're like, are you cold? I'm like, yes. Yeah. Very cold. All right, so.
I go through spurts and sputters where, like, today I'm like, oh, I'm fine. But other times I'm just like freezing and it's 60 degrees, so.
Oh, I know. Here, I got something really cool to show you.
Uh-oh. She's got something cool to show me.
It's from Russia.
Okay, little.
Okay, so I'm like, I want a crow's tail, but I don't want to go out there and hunt any crow. And I don't really want to go look for dead crow either. And I don't want to eat crow. So I go on Etsy And I order a crow's tail from a taxidermist, and it doesn't tell you where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And it ends up, it's from Russia.
Oh, wow.
Russia, Russia, Russia. And it was really cool. So here is...
That's so pretty, though.
So here is my crow's tail. And I'm actually going to make a fan to go for when I do this ceremony that's called a 5 feather ceremony.
Okay.
And it's a great way to cut some cords and break those vows of poverty or negative vibrational vows, etc.
I'm going to do this ceremony.
And
I shouldn't say I want to. I need to.
And so I wanted to add on my smudge feather fans, I wanted to create one that was the crow. And I was like, even though I did not, when I went to this animal communication class, we got to, I guess, do some meditation and meet, our animal spirit guide, and mine's a turtle. And I know they're about longevity and something else, and stability and something else. But I was bummed out because I wanted something cool. And I mean, because this chick that I go with, she's like, oh yeah, I've got the snow owl and a leopard. And I'm like,
Then you get a turtle.
I get a turtle.
You sound like me.
You know,
I just create
I got a bear. You know, I got the wolf. You know, and I'm like, I got a turtle. And I'm like, how come I didn't get something bad butt? You know, I wanted something badass in that. And I get a turtle. Okay, I love turtles. Don't get me wrong. I got turtles what do I have here on my table?
It's turtle.
I have a turtle. I also have my Bronzentine.
That angel's gorgeous. That came from Maki's too.
That came from Maki's.
Yeah.
This is my angel.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, it watches over, so it's like making sure I'm not cussing too bad. I'm not using the F-bomb today. But, so anyway, so I got this crow thing to add on to. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. So I'm going to have a really cool feather fan to go with it.
That'll look really cool.
So it's my crow feathers, and they're from Russia. And, and then they sent in a little, it was so cute. They sent me a little, I hope it's not a bunny tail. It was a little fuff of fleur, and it's really soft. Keychain. It's in my truck, though, and I didn't drive the truck today. But, so I was like, it came from Russia. So it was really kind of cool. Because it was like, so I got, in fact...
This is so pretty, though.
I'm over here laughing because things that I've ordered here in the United States aren't here yet. But things that I ordered from Russia were here in 2 days. Go figure. In fact, I was like messed up in my head going, there's something I need to sign for at the post office. And I'm like, what the heck could it be? And this guy had said that he had sent it out. I didn't pay attention to where it was from. But it was from Russia. And the stamps are so beautiful, too.
Oh, yes. I love the Russian stamps. Did you save them?
Yeah. My grandson was with me. And I knew what it was when I saw that his name was on there. I was like all excited. I was like, Roman sent me my feathers. And I was like so excited. And I like throw the package in the truck. And my grandson Christian was sitting in the front seat. And I was like, open up the package. So he opened, and I was like, don't tear the stamps, they're cool. And I go, where is that from? And he's like, I don't know, it's in a foreign, like, letters I don't know, you know.
Letters I don't know.
So I'm like, oh, and then I looked at something and it talks up, like, man, my Instagram's like going crazy. Like, what the heck, nobody ever talks to me on Instagram.
Man.
And so, yeah, so he was like, I don't know. And I looked at it later, and it was like Russian. And I was like, oh,
that's so
cool. See, I think Russia is a cool country. I mean, I'm not talking politics, government. I'm talking about geographically,
culturally
speaking.
They have a really cool culture.
It's really, Interesting.
It's fascinating.
It's very fascinating. I really dig that. I dig a lot of cultures outside of the American culture. I like to learn about other cultures.
I think it's important to learn about cultures. I mean, how do we create unity amongst ourselves if we don't understand where we came from and why we do the things we do?
And why we're going where we're going.
And why we're going where we're going.
And what we're going to do. Shoot.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to understand those things.
People, it is. It's really cool. I remember when I was in nursing school, we had this, we had to pick a country. My country was Germany. And do a little presentation about German nursing or German healthcare or whatever. And how to talk about something that was cultural and then present a food.
Right.
I don't remember what we did as a food. It wasn't Wiener Schnitzel, I know that. It was probably some kind of pastry thing.
A strudel.
A strudel. Here's a strudel, and everyone was like, I thought that was Betty Crocker. I thought it was Betty Crocker. But yeah, I'm not.
I don't know if I worked with, midwife that I was associated with somehow. I don't remember. She was from Germany. She was a midwife from Germany. Mm-hmm. And in Germany, midwives are very widely accepted. They're like, you go see a midwife, you don't go see an OB.
Oh yeah, the shit they go to.
You don't go to an OB unless you're high risk, and the midwife determines that, not the OB. Well, she was medical beyond medical. I'm telling you what, she was like, I was at a birth with her, and she held up a pair of scissors. Mm-hmm. What do you call them?
Clamps?
Not clamps, but cutting device.
Uh-huh.
And said, you need to get this baby out or else I'm going to give you an episiotomy. And I'm like, what? Yeah, I was like, okay, nothing like bullying the mama a little bit. So, when I think of nursing in Germany, I think of big old ladies going,
Helga,
yeah. I'm here to give you an enema. Type thing. No. This woman was super sweet and stuff and very knowledgeable, but when she did that, I lost a lot of respect for her. So it's like, wow.
Well, and I'm going to say, medically speaking, I can remember hearing people or hearing a healthcare worker kind of have to redirect somebody. So was she screaming or was she carrying on or not doing,
The mom?
Yeah.
No.
Oh. Oh, hell. I was like, But you know me, I like the cold, sterile delivery room, so.
I know you
do. Yeah, that's just in case anything happens. Because I'm like, time is of the essence. But, just to break that one. But yeah, and it was like, I'm not crazy about German food.
No, I love German food. And the thing is I didn't realize it until after we'd been married for several years and we discovered this German restaurant, decided to go out to eat, to try it out. And I'd never been to a German restaurant. I didn't know what, the typical schnitzel and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
So we go into this German restaurant and we're ordering food and it comes to the table and I'm like, I grew up on German food. This is how my mama cooked, was like this.
Oh.
So I love German food.
We call that fried steak. You call it Wiener Schnitzel?
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because I remember it was like, this guy was like talking, you just take the real thin piece of steak and you kind of pound it down a little bit and you put it in breadcrumbs. Then you cook it, and then you can cook it with these potatoes, like country potatoes.
Country potatoes, pan-fried potatoes, yeah.
And so then I'm laughing, because then it's like, I've always wanted to eat Wiener Schnitzel. It sounds so interesting.
It's not that interesting.
It was a piece of thin steak, breaded, and cooked with country potatoes. So, yeah. I was like, hey, wait.
Yeah. The way I grew up.
This is country steak and country potatoes. What the hell? I wanted Wiener Schnitzel.
But there you go. I mean, back to the whole understanding cultures, and you kind of start understanding where your ancestors came from, because what is the one thing that we pass down?
Food.
Food. We always pass down food and recipes, and that's community is food. And so when you can understand the cultural aspects of the food and stuff, you could go, oh, okay.
I'm over here
and then
laughing.
do your genealogy and do your research, and you find out that the foods that you love, and I mean, it's true for me anyway. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's why I love that food so much, is because I have
that. Oh, it was
I
like,
have ancestors that were whatever,
Yeah. Well, no, because it's kind of like my mother was an international cook. I would say she didn't cook a lot of Chinese, Japanese, as in Far East food. But she made a lot of Middle Eastern food, a lot of like Indian food, French, European foods, lots of Spanish foods, Mexican foods and everything. So I was pretty, so I guess I'd have to say if we were talking about our ethnicity by our dietary upbringing, then I was a Heinz 57.
Me too.
Because my mama cooked a lot of different stuff. My mom was like a really, really, really good cook.
We ate a lot of fish, but my parents grew up in Florida. And my mom's family is like 5 generations Floridian or more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like settlers. So we ate a lot of fish, especially when I was young and we lived in Florida. But then when you look at the genealogical history of our family, we have a long line of Viking ancestors.
Do you want to know something really cool about the Vikings?
Yeah, tell me.
In Florida?
What?
Do you know that they have, go in and look under in archaeology, and they have archaeological finds of Vikings on the Florida coast and in the swamps.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
And I was like,
Doesn't
from like
surprise me at all.
700 AD.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does not surprise me
So
at all.
Columbus really didn't discover.
Yeah. The Vikings did. Ha! They probably got tired of the cold.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to go someplace warm. I don't like the Spanish. They're rude,
Yeah.
I gotta go someplace else.
They got tired of the ice and the cold, so they went to Florida.
Yeah.
Works for me, man. Works for me.
I was like, I wasn't warm enough, but I was like, actually, like the Mediterranean's really pretty warm, but yeah, no, it's really interesting because it's like up in Wichita, Kansas. Yeah, Wichita, Kansas. There's a huge Indian city that they found that's actually Wichita tribe.
Uh-huh.
The Wichitas, I believe it's the Kittikatish
Okay.
band, which is what my husband is Kittikatish.
Okay.
And anyway, they found like this huge metropolitan sized city.
Oh, wow.
And the ruins of this city, and I'm not sure how far back it goes. I can't remember. I haven't seen the whole, all right, I haven't paid attention to the whole documentary, okay? So I'm like, might as well just tell the damn truth,
I love documentaries, but sometimes after a while you start going glassy-eyed. They get kind of...
Well, I listen to a lot. I listen to a
okay.
lot of books, or I have a documentary on, and I'm doing other things, and then I'll look up to see something. But right now we have one outlet.
You still don't have electricity.
Yeah, and then I get a love note.
Oh.
I get a love note, a love letter from OG&E. Dear friend.
I'm sorry, that's funny.
We underestimated.
Yeah.
Or overestimated, whatever.
It'll be another month.
It'll be another month before. And I was like, it's going to be no bill November. Hell yeah. I'm like, gee whiz. Dear friend, it'll be the 5th of November before it comes back on. And I'm like, I bet you on the 5th, they'll be like, dear friend, it'll be the 1st of December. And I'm like, but I have heat and I have water, so I'm not really complaining. Other than there's a little lamp thing that I use for putting my makeup on and stuff. But it does make you prioritize your day.
Oh yeah.
Because it used to be, I can just like not run the vacuum. I can just sweep and mop later on.
Yeah, but
I'm
then it
like,
gets
no,
dark.
girl, it's gonna get dark. No, my power is not back on, Monica. Can't you see the look in my face? My eyes are about to pop out. I was like, they said Thursday night, and I swear if OG&E sends me a letter on Thursday night, I'm going to blow a gasket. My transformer's going to go off. Listen to me. I sound like a kid. Wow. You know. I'm like, oh my God. But no bill November.
Right? Exactly. What's the... You having problems today?
I'm like, what is the deal? Dang you, Brahms. God. Anyway. But yeah, no, it's like craziness. I have chakra balancing is on special this month in the month of November. I'm not doing I used to do cash discounts like on Mondays and Wednesdays before 4 and then Fridays before noon or something like that. And I'm not doing cash discounts anymore. It just got to be too much paperwork for me to remember when and whatever. So I'm going to start doing like the little monthly specials again for Oklahoma Healing Connection. And this month we are doing the chakra balancing, which uses sound therapy, or I love it, sound alchemy.
Sound alchemy. That sounds so proper.
Sound alchemy sounds really new age-ish to me. I'm like, oh, you're using tuning forks? You know, and I try to keep my life real simple. Thank you. I try to keep my life as simple as possible.
Just had to.
Just so we got better acoustics with it next time. But no, I was like, you know, they use all these fancy words for stuff, and then I'm like, well, what is that? And they'll look at me and they're like, tuning forks. We're going to be using some kinesiology testing, and I'm like, what is that? Pendulums, you know.
Muscle testing, whatever.
You know.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing some, you know, I was like, what's a fancy word for a rock, you know? We're going to be doing some blah, blah, healing. What is that? Crystal healing with a stone. You know?
We're going to be doing some geographical reconstruction of your energy fields.
Yes. And we'll be utilizing the Pneumite for your flight.
Buckle up.
Buckle up. Buckle up, baby. Speaking of that, Sean Connery died last week. You didn't see that?
I did not see that.
Oh my God.
That is sad.
And I saw the funniest little meme. It was on the meme was St. Peter, you know, like at the pearly gates. And St. Peter's going, just say it one more time. And there's Sean Connery over there trying to get in through the pearly gates. And he goes, Bond. James Bond. And I'm like, what's the magic word? You know, Bond. James Bond.
Yeah.
So I had to laugh. I'm not laughing that Sean Connery died, but I had to laugh at the meme. I like Sean Connery.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
He is a very, very, very cool man.
Very cool guy.
He was. He's a manly man.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a very manly man. I heard he was kind of like very dominant in his house.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Just wouldn't. Because he's, yeah.
Babe, I've got toe jam between my toes. Clean it out. You know? In my house, it'd be like, Lola, go lick between Daddy's toes. Lola's my pit bull, okay? We're not having our kids do that. Wouldn't happen in my house.
He probably had like a butler and a...
No, I could just imagine. No, I don't know. I just have it in my head that he was telling his wife to come clean the toe jam. Babe, can you lift the toilet lid for me? Yeah, life with a man who's really dominant. But yeah.
I guess, it takes all types, right?
My husband used to be really kind of try to be dominate back in the day.
Yeah, mine did too until he realized he was in charge.
And I let him do that. Now notice I said I let him do that.
Yeah.
I let him do that for a while. And then it was just like when stuff just got out of hand, I had to just like take the rein back and go, oh,
no, not working for me.
you know, but I would say now I think that we're a really good partnership.
Yeah.
You know, I think both of us had to, and I think people don't realize that about marriage. You know, they're like, it's this agreement that we're going to live together in harmony. And I'm like, oh, honey.
Do you see what I'm doing?
Yeah, she's got the waves going up and down. And I'm like, waxing and waning. I like to refer to it as a moon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And on a full moon, you know, shit gets real crazy. Sorry. But,
oh, yeah. It was quite crazy.
And then a new moon, you can go back into that point of going, okay, we're going to start anew. Like from page 1, babe. We've been married for 25 years, and that's okay.
Let's just erase those last 25 years.
And I'm over there. Something I'm probably not supposed to say.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm coughing, but... I'm going to clear all the vibration of the last 25 years and put it behind us until the next argument that we have.
In 20 minutes.
And then I will whip it out of that bag and I will throw it out on the table and you know I'm going to win.
My husband likes to say, I don't know why you complain about having a bad memory. You sure do remember everything I've ever done. I'm like... You say so.
The heck. Well, because those good memories are like fuzzy, warm slippers.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just forget that you have them on.
This is true.
Because
your feet get sweaty.
Well, you go, or you go to the store and you look down and you realize that you have tiger paw slippers on.
I have to say something.
Yeah, women don't forget, Monica. Women don't forget.
We was standing in line voting yesterday. Yeah, all day long. But it was ridiculous. But anyway, a lady walks out after she'd been voting. She has this beautiful dress on. It's gorgeous. Her hair was all done up and coiffed. Matching purse. Fuzzy slippers.
Yeah.
I was just like, wow.
She's like, think I was going to wear my stilettos here? Hell no. Hell to the no.
I was like, wow, okay.
I didn't have that long of a wait.
Oh, our wait was ridiculous.
No, I got up and went real early in the morning.
They said it didn't matter. There were people that got there at 6:30 yesterday morning, and they were there for 3 hours.
Yeah, no, weren't too bad in our area.
Yeah.
So, no, I hope people did vote. Don't get discouraged in either way. Sometimes we've just got to let things roll out the way that they need to roll out and let things happen in the way that they need to happen. And that's one thing that I have to say that I learned in my dark night of the journey, or my journey of the dark night of the soul, or whatever the hell you want to call that. My nightmare. They were like, Nightmare on Elm Street. And I'm like, no, this was like a year-long, like, nightmare. Mm-hmm. But, and sometimes it's, the end result is always going to be what it needs to be. It's the path that gets you to that end result.
That's hard.
That's hard,
hard,
but gives you that meaning to where it is. You know, and I look at it like that. We were talking. We've talked about this several times, and it's like the difference between getting things easily, quickly, without work, without effort. You know, almost handed to you. Mm-hmm. We don't have any sense of. I believe that people don't have a sense of respect.
True.
For those things, and that they will look at it as a token, or a takeaway,
Mm-hmm.
think about it like when you go, have you ever been to, I was like, it's been such a long time, been to the fair where they have like the Made in Oklahoma building, or they
Mm-hmm.
have a particular building and every table has a little takeaway,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a tape measure or
Or a
a
pen or
sticker
a
or a pin
pencil
or
or whatever.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's some kind of takeaway that you take with, that you go and then you look at it and you go, oh yeah, that was at the fair. I love that day. Yeah, the funnel cakes and all of that fried Twinkie Snicker bar thing. you know,
Right, Twinkie Snicker bar.
you know, whatever the
That
heck you're
sounds
eating
like
over there,
a diabetic coma waiting to happen.
It was like a fried Twinkie Snicker bar thing. I don't know. It was something, and it was like chocolatey and fried and twinkly. And he's over there, the man's over there wanting to eat alligator tail. And I'm like, that ain't even real alligator. Thinking in my head, I was like, you got to go to Florida or New Orleans for that.
Right?
But he's over there, I want to get the alligator. And I'm like, I want the Twinkie Snicker fried thing, And so, but, and you get those little takeaways. Well, people that expect life to be like a takeaway, that you go in and you look at something for 30 seconds or whatever, and then you get a takeaway from it, you have nothing vested.
Right.
You have nothing invested. There's nothing that's holding you in a connection or a vibrational connection or an I don't want to use the word obligation, accountability with it.
How many times do you get, one of those like reusable shopping bags, and you walk through and you're putting all that stuff in the reusable shopping bag, and you get home and you're tired because you've been walking around the fair all day long or whatever, and you just toss that bag over in the corner.
Oh, and 6 months later, then you're like,
ooh, look what this is
remember
cool. I
that
remember
day.
going to the fair. That was fun.
I love that. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, that's so awesome. But anyway, that's how that kind of rolls on that.
Yeah.
So
Well, and the same is true for, I don't know. You have a friend who plays violin, and you've always wanted to learn to play violin, so the friend offers to teach you how to play, and you meet with them maybe twice.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have nothing invested in, there's nothing holding you accountable or holding you, what's the word I'm like, motivating you to be there.
No.
To do it. And there's nothing motivating your friend to do it for you.
Mm-mm.
And so you end up not getting anything out of it because you don't have an investment in it.
No, that's why it's kind of like, if I haven't put my effort into something, I was like, I personally couldn't walk into a business like a major corporation without any kind of knowledge base and expect that I'm, going to be a honcho or something through there. I'm kind of like, my expectation is I'm going to work from the ground up. I wanted to get into a different field, and that other field didn't really require what I would say like a major what's that word I want? Degree, or specialty degree in it. It's pretty simplistic. But the starting pay is like $9. So somebody kind of looks at me and I'm like, I'm willing to accept that. And they're looking at me like, why is this person in this age group willing, do they suck so much in life? And I'm like, okay, so let's say I have to go to school to learn how to do this.
Then you have to pay for that.
Then I have to pay for that.
Right.
And I'm paying, I'm paying out of pocket or whatever. I'm still going to, be paying out of pocket at the end of the rodeo for that education in order to do that job and walk in making 25, 30, 35 bucks an hour at that job. But walking in a field that I know absolutely nothing other than what I've done at home type thing.
Well,
it's kind of like, saying I'm a chef just because I cooked for 5 kids.
Right.
Okay, that doesn't make you a chef.
Makes you a good cook, probably.
Hopefully.
Maybe. Hopefully. But yeah, it doesn't mean you're a chef.
It doesn't mean you're a chef at all. It means that you're kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's just go with that.
Let's just talk about apprenticeships. I mean, when we used to do apprenticeships, in my opinion, is we need to get back to apprenticeships, real, true apprenticeships.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you were in an apprenticeship that you didn't have to pay money for, you were lucky. Because apprenticeships were like going to school. A lot of times you paid your mentor to teach you their trade.
Yeah, it wasn't free.
No. And even then, if you didn't actually pay money, it was sweat equity, and you were sweeping the floor, you were mopping, you were taking out the trash, you were,
indentured servant.
Yeah. And then it was your mentor's responsibility to say, okay, well, you're ready to go out and do your own thing now. So I don't understand why I do understand why we got away from those, but I wish that we could go back to that type of education.
See, it was like one of my sons went to go work at a particular place, and they were paying him like, let's say $15. I want to say it was like $15 an hour, but they were training him to do something so that at the end of his training he would be making, $45 an hour.
Right.
And I'm like, that's phenomenal. That's a great opportunity. He really, really liked that work too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But, so you start looking at things, and it was just like, you have to have some sort of investment into something. You can't always just go, oh, I'm going to do that for kicks and giggles.
Right.
And, and it's, having that investment, either it's a lot of study time, you're either paying to learn that, as in, so you're either learning it by like an apprenticeship, you're either going to school and learning that, and hopefully they have clinical hours for you, or practical hours where you're learning how to do that stuff. Because there's a lot of people, I have a degree in blah, 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 and they have no clue of how to do anything with blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I mean, I look at it, I was, even thinking of, when you even look at healthcare, that you do 183 hours or something like that of clinicals, so that you have, God, that's just like a little over 4 weeks worth of experience before you're out there actually practicing on patients.
Let's hope you're actually getting lots of practice during that time and not just counting the hours.
Or, paper pushing, during that time. Some good hands-on experience. Which is, I think one of the big reasons why I've been kind of changing over to having a longer Reiki class. I know that people, I was actually reading something that somebody had posted up on Carl's Reiki page, and he said that Reiki practitioners that are trained well are trained in, are going to be trained in some other healing avenues, some Ayurvedics and et cetera, in order to complement that Reiki work that's going on.
Right.
And it's, and they were stressing about, not stressing as in I'm stressed out, but the emphasis of having a program that you are learning how to work with energy and vibration, and that if you were intending on doing that professionally, that you have some good grounding in other avenues of healing.
Right. I think it's important to have a knowledge of other avenues of healing. It doesn't mean that you have to do it all, just to have an understanding of how they work. And you never know when you get somebody in that's like, have you thought about doing, you
Yeah.
know, or having this done or whatever? You know, I think it's important to have at least a good knowledge base to be able to refer them to other practitioners and things. So, and that's how we create unity. I mean, that's how we come together. And everybody has their specialties. I have never been able to understand the competition mentality, specifically among people who are focused on natural health and healing and natural lifestyle, ways of the natural lifestyle, because, you know, my experience is not the same as yours. Yours isn't the same as Jane's. Jane's isn't the same as Mary's. But if we all come together, what kind of knowledge do we have? You know, I don't know.
I agree in most things, but when it comes to some things of the spiritual realm, I do not think that everything can stand and hold hands and sing Kumbaya.
Well, no,
You know,
definitely not.
I think that
Definitely
there
not
are
in the spiritual realm. But
in the spiritual realm. I think that there's a lot of things. You know, spiritually speaking, I think that there's that. But when you're looking at, as in the healthcare world, or, you know, probably in any arena, in any industry, that you do have to have some a sense of unity, because you know, it's kind of like cars. Everybody doesn't like a Chevy,
right.
but we all like something that hopefully has four wheels and runs, right? So I mean, we have a common ground, and then we are going to pick things that are, you know, designed for our personality or our needs.
That's right.
And the same thing I think happens with, you know, with healthcare providers or midwives, doulas, Reiki practitioners. I'm not going to be for everybody, and everybody isn't going to be for me.
Yeah. And so create your circle, because then that's when you refer out.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like,
say, hey,
you know, it's like when you find out, well, this, you know, on your, what's it say on GYNs, not OBs, but GYN, well, OBGYNs. Somebody that's, you know, 55 years old really doesn't need the one that focuses on OB. So they're going to go see somebody that focuses more on, you know, women's health, or GYN, or menopausal women, or whatever.
Right.
They're going to focus, you know. So I think that if you started looking at health or holistic health providers, what is their specialty? What is their niche?
Right.
You know, and if that's something that brings you, that interests you, or piques your interest, or that you want to work with, then rock on.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was kind of unusual, you know, because my husband and I both are ministers, and we both believe in, you know, the Trinity. And it was really strange that somebody had brought someone in to see us, and that person was very anti-Christian.
Yeah, that's odd.
And I'm kind of like,
sense, but...
well, I thought it was really kind of strange, because the person that brought them, I was pretty sure that, you know, because I'd known him for several years, I was pretty sure that they knew. And then they were like, oh, yeah, so-and-so was freaked out when she saw the Bible. And I was like, okay, Damien's sister. No, just kidding. You know, so I was kind of like, you know, and then of course, you know, I read in the Exorcism, the book from one of the famous exorcists, and he says that every healer should have a picture of the Virgin Mary, or an icon of the Virgin Mary in their room. And you know, and people go, interesting, why? You know, and he states that is because demonic entities cannot reside in that room. So you may work with that person, you know, etc. But that little cootie doesn't sit around and hang out in your room.
Have you watched The Chosen?
I actually, you'll be proud of me, I downloaded the app on my phone.
Oh, good job.
Yeah, except for it's like taking up everything on my phone. So bad job, because then now I can't see all the pictures on Twitter.
Do you have a Roku? Do you do Roku?
Oh, no.
Okay. So
no, I'll watch it on that.
You were talking about the Virgin Mary, and it just made me think of the episode of The Chosen that I just went, oh, wow. So when it shows Mary as a young child, I think it's the very first episode, and she has really bad headaches. And her father is telling her there's something that he has her repeat, and I don't remember what it was now. Basically, kind of a prayer, a scriptural prayer type thing that she repeats. Well, and then it goes forward to where she's older, and she's basically, they portray her as a crazy person, like she has an entity in her, demonic, and a harlot, and things start happening. So this is leading up to Christ being involved in the community and stuff, and this is before he starts performing his miracles. And the way the show portrays it is that one of his very first miracles was healing, not the Virgin Mary, Mary Magdalene. Okay. I'm confused. I'm sorry. I mixed them up. I'm sorry. I'm like, no, not Mary, not the Virgin Mary, but Mary Magdalene. But one of the very first miracles that he does before he starts preaching to the people and going out among the people is that he heals Mary Magdalene and gets rid of all those entities and things that are in her.
That's very interesting.
It was very interesting to see. So, I mean, of course, we had a little deep conversation, and I'm sorry, I got Mary.
I'm over here
like, wait a minute, wrong Mary. Okay. But we had a very interesting conversation because I'm like, well, why would she be the first miracle that he performed?
Because she was an awesome chick, and that was his partner in crime.
That's right.
Partner in crime, listen to me. Yeah, like right. Jesus was on a crime spree.
Right. No, I think that she was his wife.
Oh, I'm pretty confident that Mary Magdalene was Jesus's wife. Yeah. I'm pretty confident of that.
So I mean, it's like, why would she be the first one that he healed?
Well, yeah, because he didn't want to come home to craziness. Dude.
Well, yeah. Anyway, that was very interesting. It was kind of like, oh, that's cool.
Well, I'm over here, like, sitting here, and I was like, the Blessed Mother? I'm Catholic,
and I'm like, wasn't it? I totally got my brain just.
That's like saying
my brain farted.
Brigham Young drank beer,
Yeah, not likely.
I'm like, that's blasphemy. But no.
Too many Marys.
Too many Marys. For her, too many Marys. We have never too many Marys in our life. Every female has a derivative of Mary in their name in my family, other than my daughter. And she's named Milan, after Italy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. When I was pregnant with her, I was at the Western Union office. And I guess they were having a Western Union strike back in 1985 or whatever.
Yeah, seems like I remember.
And this guy was like pounding on the counter. I have to get this to Milan. I have to get this to Milan. I have to get this to Milan. And I'm like, what's he sending to Milan? And I went, that's a really pretty name. I like it. Sarah Milan. I really like it. And so that's where she got her name from.
That's cool.
And I did talk like that. No, I didn't. Back in the day. But I was probably really kind of goofy doing this with my hair. But yeah.
Is Sarah your oldest?
She's my oldest.
Yeah.
So, Lord, we've been on for 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 24 seconds.
No, 25, 26.
27, 28, 29. And so, some of you have been on for the entire hour with us, so you were a guest host today.
Woohoo!
So, peace, love, and harmony. We will get back with you, or we'll get with you, or we'll see you very soon.
We'll see you soon. Come see us.
Tecate. Fruit Loops. Purple Punch. See you later. Okay. Podcast off. And that is off.